You know, in the age of the internet, we all have to be careful because, see, there's cameras everywhere. You know, we put ourselves out there on social media, etc. And as a man, as a grown man myself, if you get caught doing this to somebody's record and this much glazing, right? Because this man looks silly up here. But when you get caught like this, it's hard to back off somebody that's got you bouncing like this. It's hard to back off all of the opinions that Maul has had about Drake and about him being better than Kendrick. We're going to go through some of the delusion and talk about why Maul cannot, and a lot of the OV hoes cannot tell the truth about Drake losing the battle to Kendrick. Let's get into it. All right, let's get right into it. OVO Maul, and his conversation with DJ Head and the ridiculousness that he was spewing during that conversation, as Head was just keeping it cool and just being down the middle for the most part and just kind of sticking to facts while staying on his side. I'm not going to say like he doesn't have his side. Of course, he is biased to Kendrick, but he doesn't have to show a lot of biasness because Kendrick did win the battle. That is pretty much the consensus across the world. Now, here's the thing. A lot of the OV hoes, Maul especially, because he has a big platform, stuck his foot in his mouth repeatedly. And this is why, you know, people ask me and they say, sometimes I'm too fair to Drake or they don't want to hear anything positive about. I just have to tell the truth. I have to stick to the truth. Okay, yes, it could benefit me to just dogpile on Drake and lie and exaggerate and all those kind of things. There's no reason to because he's offing himself. Like, I don't have to do that, right? I don't have to oversell Kendrick beating him. Kendrick destroyed him pretty thoroughly, right? And the reason you stay balanced and the reason you try to stay as much to the truth as possible is for this reason right here. You can wind up looking foolish like this because what Maul is in a position now, he's stuck because he either has to make himself look stupid for what he was doing and admit that he was wrong, or make himself look stupid by sticking to being wrong. So his ego has chosen to make him to stick to being wrong. He can't put it to the side. Because when you have said things like this...
Listen, fuck all that. Drake is smashing this nigga, man. He's punching this nigga. He's out-rapping this nigga. It's not even close. The music is way better. The visual is way better. I fed you fake shit and you ran with it. You thought I had an 11-year-old daughter. You're a clown. You digging for dirt. You should be digging for proof. He gave you everything. He gave you the... Long-winded... I'm sitting here talking, just talking. Let's just talk about the bars, the music. Let's get to that. Who's putting out the better music?
And we're going to get to who had the better bars and the better music and all those things in the video soon enough. But Maul cannot live down all of this because this stuff is going to be on the internet forever. And instead of humbling down, shout out to Kendrick Lamar and the song Be Humble, he was talking to somebody at that point. We all know who now, who he was talking to. You have to be humble and humble down and just say, you know what, Drake took a bad one, we'll be back. What's so hard about saying that? Drake doesn't want to do it. Drake doesn't want to even be considered unk at almost 40 years old. So we know he's delusional, right? So Maul, when your glazing goes to the point where you dissing the Super Bowl, right? Like this.
Never told you that.
Can we please watch the Super Bowl together as a family?
No, fuck that Super Bowl.
Wait, the game?
Was it like Kaepernick or because of Kendrick?
No, because of Kendrick. Fuck. I ain't doing it. Listen, y'all know how I stand on a big box of business. Fuck that Super Bowl.
So when Maul does say this to DJ Head, we should believe him, all right? We should believe him and trust what he says and quit arguing with Maul and people like him. Because if this is your stance.
Remember the context, but it was just like, because you come off as very delusional in the way that you approach your argument.
I love that.
Yeah. I actually envy it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I love that I come off delusional because I know exactly what the fuck I'm saying and why I'm saying it.
Yeah.
But again, I can't speak on certain things publicly. So
the most important part he said there is he knows why he's saying it, right? And we have to understand something. In the media space, first of all, this is quite the hustle, especially that podcast space where they're actually spending money, they're backed by brands, they need those brand deals. When you have a relationship with a 9-figure person, as in Drake, right? You have to do what you can to protect that relationship. And that's the jumping out the window that you see from a lot of podcasters and that in support of certain artists, almost no matter what they do or what they find themselves into. That is a very precarious position to find yourself in. That's why you should just try to keep it down the middle and not befriend people too much. Like I hear Joe Budden say it all the time. I don't care about none of these ninjas, right? That is the stance that you have to keep throwing out there just in case it goes bad. These are grown people. They may end up in any kind of situation. Nobody saw Drake losing like this kind of bad, where a year later his career is hanging on by a little bit. You know, people thought he would lose for sure. Those of us on Kendrick's side thought he would lose for sure. But I thought he would just move on. And I think most of us thought that. You know, accept your loss, move on, go sit down. Don't be barking at no more real MCs ever again, right? Stay in that pop, singy lane that you in, that you created. Keep your ghostwriters and be the male Britney Spears, whatever you want to call it. And shout out to Britney Spears, no shade to her. But anyway, I think having cats like Maul, who's from New York, from the Bronx, with real ties to real hip hop, also probably put the battery in Drake's back to continue like he did and to continue as he has, not accepting the loss and acting like he can come back and think he can come back and there's something he can do to minimize the damage from the loss of the battle. But now that we're a year later, we know that there was nothing he could have done. There's nothing he could do but admit defeat and move on. But at least Maul did give us a final statement from Team OVO and Drake's side of everything when he said this.
Cool, there's no problem there. But I see what's happening now. And I think that's where Drake felt like he didn't lose the battle. The battle lost him. He didn't lose the battle. The battle lost him.
And there you have it. Drake didn't lose the battle. The battle lost him. I almost fell down when he said that. That is the biggest crock of nonsense I've ever heard, I think, in my whole life. That just made no sense. This is the delusion that we're dealing with, and it's time to just move on. Excuse me. It's time to just move on and just no more arguing with the OVOs. They have nothing better to do because obviously these people listen to Drake a lot, listen to Team OVO a lot, and they don't have anything else to listen to because everything else is in a different direction. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick and SZA are everywhere in social media world. You know, you got Ray Vaughn, you got Doechii. Everything is a reminder, you know what I'm saying, of Drake taking his bad loss to Kendrick and PG Lang, TDE, etc. So, you know, prayers out since it's a Sunday. I'm recording this on a Sunday. Prayers out to Team OVO. You know, time heals all wounds. You all will get over it one day, sometime in the future. You know, Cinco de Mayo, I think it's tomorrow. Go celebrate Cinco de Mayo. You know, Drake likes to impersonate Hispanic culture as well. So there you go. Anyway, y'all know what it is. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Share this video. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Thank y'all for watching as always, and we out.